we can notice that if at all the key is given as negative key, we are supposed to take the previous k value has to be taken. The same circular code array, guys. So here, whenever we are reaching end of the array, when you want to take next element, you're supposed to take from the beginning. The same way, if at all my key value is negative, we are supposed to take from the end. Okay, it is literally like writing the number in a circular format and iterating it. So if at all your k value is equals to 0, replace all the places with 0. The condition here is the code is circular. The next element of n minus 1, the last element of next could be code 0, the same way. So right now we are seeing with the previous case, right? The previous element of code 0, for first element, the previous number could be n minus 1. This could be the previous number. So we are supposed to defuse the bomb with the key whatever they are given. Now let us go ahead with the example. So let me explain the test case for it. So the same scenario, guys, the previous yesterday's session, whatever you have seen, you're supposed to think to it what is that has to be done modification in it. Or if you want, you can write separate logic for it also, guys. Completely up to you. That's the reason I splitted the program into two separate programs. Okay, so let us take an example here. So this is your test case. I believe, okay, this work, this Excel is displayed, right? So now we'll take a number like 2493. Okay, this is your circular code, what it is given for us. Now, what is our task? Our key value is -2. So in case of -2, how we are going to defuse the bomb? We are going to defuse the bomb by taking the previous index. Okay, by taking the previous index, let me write the index position like 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is the index position. So for 0th index position, what are the index position you're supposed to take? If you tell you want to fill the 0th index position, I'm supposed to fill the value with third index plus second index. Is it clear? So I'm supposed to fill the value with third index and second index. Just a minute. Since I mentioned this symbol, it is showing some. Okay. So I'm supposed to fill this particular 0th index with third index plus second index, previous two values. So for 0th index, this is what they're given. N minus 1 could be the value of n minus 1 and followed by this circular way I'm supposed to go ahead. So here summation of these two will be giving you answer 12. So this is how the 0th index is filled. The same way for the first index. If at all you want to fill the first index, the previous index value is 0th index is 2 plus and followed by third index value is 3. So 2 plus 3 is going to give you 5. 5 will be stored here. The same way for your second index. So we are supposed to take for second index previous two indexes 1 and 0. So 1 plus 0th index has to be done. So 9 plus 4 will give you 13 as the answer. That is the value of second index for diffuse bomb. And same way for third index. The previous two values is 1 plus 2. So second index plus first index. So here we'll be having 9 plus, am I right? Sorry, previous case did we write wrong? Yes, 4 plus 2, right? Guys, what happened? No one has told me. 4 plus 2 for second index, 4 plus 2. We wrote wrong. So we'll be getting a value 6. So what happened? Everyone is quiet today. Respond me. Okay. And next value is third index is 9 plus 4. It is all about 13. So this could be the answer of it. Start writing logic for it, which is similar to the SD's logic, whatever we had discussed. SDA we wrote logic for forward moving, right? So now it is backward moving, guys. For the same sum, we can just consider this as your output. So this is as your function code, function block, not as output, function block. Make it done. So try to write in an optimized way. As we see, if at all you're if at all you're modifying the SD's logic, whatever you're seeing, that could be fine. Or even your own logic is also welcome, guys. So for your understanding, I have taken the index question here. Since we are dealing with the index question, it could be easy. So for forward, I told you, right? Just add that number by plus divide by n. Think to it, what is that you're supposed to do for backward? I can move an array forward and backward in a circular way. I given already hint for your forward direction, modulo by n directly. For backward direction, what is it you're supposed to? Think to it and work on it. Mm, okay, Divya. Okay. Okay. Just change the code and post it. Change the code and post it and work on it, whether it is working properly. Have this test case and just work on it. You can hardly take 10 minutes, not more than that. Okay. First, let us write a outer skeleton of it. This is a function what we are taken, right? So let us write a skeleton first. Std io.h followed by our main. So we can take the same array. What is the example we are taken? Okay, it could be easy for us. So let me declare an array int arr. So array is declared and followed by a key value is declared. So these two are declared. As we see, the resultant array is here. We can update, we can declare a resultant array dynamically. So int star result allocate memory for it. Malloc followed by, and moreover here we need a size of the array. So let us declare it int n value size of the array. Let me give directly here as of now as 4. So let me mention n into size of followed by int. So memory has been allocated for this array and followed by the function call. So we'll have a function call. So in the function call, what is the name of the function they mentioned here? As per the code, they mentioned the function call function name is decrypt, and the first one is a array name. So first is our array and followed by size of the array and followed by the resultant. So these are the elements. So fine. We'll go with the logic then. So here let me reduce the size of it, guys. Okay, the names are too lengthy. So each and every time when we want to type it, it will be too hard. So let me reduce the name of it. Okay. So this could be fine. So now we'll go ahead. So as we do early, here what is that we are supposed to do is we are supposed to have a iteration. So we'll be having two index. So we have seen the earliest logic, like I believe that you people could remember. So we are going to have this particular diffuse array as well as this particular index array. So by iterating this particular diffuse array one by one index, what is it we are supposed to do is, let me once go to the Excel and let me explain it once. Look at here, we people will be at this position. So we people will be at this position. So previously what we did, we will be adding these two indexes, right? So we'll be adding this particular diffuse index plus B index. So we'll start our we'll start our this one diffuse index from the index position 1. So if at all this is a pointer, we'll just had a iteration like this in case of previous program forward to, if at all if it is plus 2, we had a next 2 element. This is what we did. We made our this particular bomb index as starting from the first position till your k value. First position till your k value we made it, and here what we did, for each and every time we added the index along with the diffuse index. Here what is it I'm going to do is, here I'm going to take the warm index as a negative value. Just listen here, you'll be getting what is it I'm trying to say. So first let me take two iterator. One iterator is for our diffuse index. So let me take d index, the same variable what we did early. The same way I have one more variable called b index, and we are going to have a summation of it. So let me have one more variable called sum. So these are the required variable for this particular decryption, and followed by it. So we are going to have an array. So what is the initial position of d index? So from where the resultant has to be filled, starting from the 0th position. So let me mention d index starts with 0, and this d index has to be iterated till the complete length of it. So let me mention d index less than n. That is fine. And followed by d index plus plus. So this is for storing the values in a d index. And followed by it, what is it we are supposed to do is, we are supposed to take a element from here bomb and we are supposed to reduce it. So for this, here we are supposed to iterate our b index. So previously our b index is like key value is positive. So we are taking like, okay, so we are taking, just a minute, what happened? Someone is pinging. Okay. So here what happened? We are supposed to take a B index value with a negative value. Previously we had a key value as positive. So we're taking as positive. Here what is it I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this particular B index as negative. And here I'm going to mention B index greater than or equals to K. Our K value is also negative value, right? So until negative value -1, -2, -3, I'm going to keep on in decrement of B index. So I believe you can understand this one. So if at all my key value is -2, so how many times this loop will be executed? 2 times. So first time it will be -1, second time it will be -2, third time when it is coming for -3, my loop will break. So I'm taking my loop as a negative value. Okay, this is done. And followed by it. So we are supposed to do summation of it, and the summation has to be resetted each and every time. So let me declare one variable called sum and let me initialize to 0. Okay, Now I'm going to add a value in sum. So as many times my B index executes, next the last two values, the previous two values has to be added, right, based on my key value. So let me have sum plus assign. So here we are supposed to take this particular array name. What is the array name we have mentioned here? So here ARR. Okay. This was Sri has told, I guess. Okay. So here, what is the array name here? We have mentioned as code. So here we'll mention code of, you're supposed to take an element from code. So here is the important logic we are supposed to concern it. What is that here is, we are supposed to bring the index position of the element. So previously what we did, D index plus B index. Okay, D index plus B index, and followed by it what we did, we made as modulo by N. So if you do like this, what's going to happen? We'll just substitute this in the code. We'll check what is missing. So you can just add something to it, so to make it for this particular code. It's the same thing, guys. Whatever we did early, we are going to just implement the same process. We'll check whether negative indexing is working. If it is not, we are going to see what is the changes we are supposed to do here. So let me do one thing. Okay, so I'll paste it here. So what's going to happen is, for first index, so whenever your D index is equals to 0, assume that your D index will be 0 initially. So what will be having is your B index will be -1. So as per the logic what you have written, code of the array name of B index. B index is 0th index -1 modulo by n. So what does it gives when you do this operation? So it will give you -1 modulo by 4. So actually what is expected here? Actual index expected for this is for the first iteration, what is expected? Third index is expected. So if at all you're writing the logic like this, we are getting the value as -1, right? So I don't want -1. I want the index third position. So what is that I want to do? So I want the index third position. So what is it I want to do to make this particular number 3? I want to make -1 to 3. Srinita, okay. N -1, okay. N -1. Good. You can do like this. N -1 can be done. So if it is of a n value is 4, 4 minus 1. So we'll be getting the third portion. For the next iteration, so you can just, as you say, you're just not including this D index, isn't it? So for the next time, what happened? 4 minus 2. So you'll be getting the second index portion. So as you say, this logic is working. So whenever your D index reaches 1, now also when you do this one, again I'll get this value as third index and second index. Can you people understand? If at all you're just mentioning my n -1 here, if you're not mentioning this D index, so always I'll get third index and second index. That should not happen. So what is it I'm supposed to? You're supposed to, as you say, you're supposed to do something with n value. What is it you're supposed to do along with it? Add n. Good. You're right. So what is it you'll be doing it? Already we have minus this one. This is there, right? So add n to it, then do modulo. Add n to it, then do modulo of it. So what happened? N value is 4. 4 minus 1, 3. 3 modulo by 4. What is that we'll be getting? We'll be getting value 3. For the next time, okay, for the next time, what's going to happen? Your B index is going to be -2. So 0 minus 2 plus n. So now what happened? 4 minus 2 will be getting 2 modulo by 4. So now you'll be getting 2 as the index. So for the first iteration, so we got this for the first two iteration, we got 3 and 2 as the answer. Okay, so this will be working for all the numbers, guys. So let me take the next value. So whenever you're for the next step, what's going to happen is, so let us add the condition here. Whatever I say, I'll add the condition here. Where is the line? Yeah, here is the line. So here, let me do one thing. You're going to add this number plus n. You're going to add plus n. Since we have a negative value, you're supposed to add along with it, so that it'll be giving a positive value. So you can do this one. Just a minute. Let me segregate by parentheses. It'll be easy for you to understand. So this is a one. So here what you'll be doing is you'll be mentioning plus n, and this is plus 4. This is for your first step, and here you'll be having minus 2. So this will be getting for your 0th index. These two summation will be made. So whenever your d index become as 1, so let me write for two steps alone, guys, not for all the steps, just for two index alone. Let me write it so that everyone will be clear with it. So when our d index become as 1, our b index will become as again as minus 1. Okay, again the same process. Now what's going to happen is code of 1 minus 1 plus n. Okay, modulo by 4. So 1 minus 1, 0. 4 modulo by 4 gives you 0. So whenever you are doing this modulo operation by the given number, it will give perfect circular iteration of the array. So here 1 minus 1 will be cancelled, and followed by 4 modulo by 4 will give you again 0th index. This is achieved. Okay, for the second iteration, 0th index is achieved, and followed by it for the next iteration, it goes in a cyclic way. So like 2, so 1 minus 2 plus 4 modulo by 4. So you'll be getting answer 3. So is it clear for everyone? So whenever we are doing keeping this as a negative indexing, just add n to it. The same logic what we seen yesterday. Without n, we have seen for forwarding, right? Forward iteration. This is for your backward iteration. So now you're clear, right? Okay, guys, if at all you have doubt, you can let me know, guys. Shall we move on to program? Is this clear for everyone? Just give me confirmation so that I can proceed to the program. Okay, clear. Fine, guys. Let me move on to the program. Here, so we are supposed to add this value. So along with this particular addition of b index plus, just a minute, something else is adding. Okay, so along with it, we are supposed to add a n value and do modulo of it. Okay, this is done. So after doing all the operation, what is it we are supposed to do? It we are supposed to update our diffuse array, right? So let us update our diffuse array. So what is the diffuse array? Resultant of d index assign a some value. So this is done. Even then this line is not required, guys. Only one line of code inside it. This is not required. So at the end, we are supposed to return a result. That's it. Our logic is hardly of only this is a logic. So this particular 4 lines is our logic. Okay, not more than this. Now let me try to print it. Let me declare a variable I here along with it. You can iterate it I less than I assign 0, I less than n, followed by I plus plus. You can just print it, printf percentage d, followed by your result of I. Okay, so we'll execute this. So what is left here? Decrypt. Is the function name same? So let me mention result assign. That's not an error. What else? Is this typo error? Decrypt. What is missing here? So the concern header file, we are supposed to add it, right? So we can add the header file. What else we missed it? K value. Yes, K value is missing. Parameter. We didn't pass K value. Yes, Ma, you're right. You're right. We didn't pass the K value. Number of arguments is mismatching. That is the reason it is throwing error. Okay, fine. So what is the answer we got according to this particular conversion? We got the answer 12, 5, 6, 13. That's the answer, right? So we'll check it here. See, we got 12, 5, 6, 13. So this will be working for all the numbers, guys. All the negative numbers. So this is only for negative numbers. Okay, so I just segregated the program for positive numbers and negative numbers. If at all you want the same logic to be done, you can club it. You can club it. So just what is that you can do here is this for loop you're writing here, right? So before this, what you can do is you can have one if condition. You can have your one if condition if your k value is less than 0. Yes, good, Srinita. When it is less than 0, you can just put this logic. Okay, just this for loop alone. Else you can put the other for loop. Then you can just update this particular resultant index unique as a common. So each and every time you can just, when a k value is less than, you can just do, you're supposed to write to it. That's it. Only this for loop you're supposed to write twice. That's it. Or if you want the complete logic to be write twice, that's your wish. Okay, this is the logic for it. So is this clear for everyone? Shall we move on to next program? Come on, guys, respond me. Yes, okay. Give me a minute. Let me just take the next program. Okay, okay, Srinita, I'll share it. Just a minute, guys. Let me take the question. Give me a minute alone. I'll share the answer. Meanwhile, we can make use of it. Okay, here is our next question. Okay, let me paste the question. Just go through the question, guys. Meanwhile, let me do the alignment and I'll be back. Okay, fine. Just we can read this question. Listen here. Binary string with substring representation 1 to n. This is all about the name of the question, guys. Nothing else. Given an binary string, yes. Okay, binary string, the values are given in zeros and ones and positive integer n. So you are given two values. One is string and other is the integer. A string is filled with the binary values. Return true if and only if for every integer x from 1 to n, the binary representation of x is a substring of yes. So you can notice here. Okay, just let me do one thing. Let me give the exact crisp of it. Okay, so they're asking about substring. So let me do a few modifications. First, let me make it as a very basic one. Then we can alter the program, guys. Listen here. So let me explain the scenario, what it is. So if it is given like this. Okay, what is the binary value of 3? What is binary value of 3? Okay, 0, 1, 1. Isn't it? 0, 1, 1. This is the binary value of it. First, you do one thing. Just check whether this particular number, whatever it is given, is a binary value of it. So for example, just as of now, let me modify the question little, not the exact question. They're asking about substring. We can take substring later. Okay, right now just return true or false if at all the given string and given integer, the given string is the binary value of string. As of now, just write like logic for it. If at all the given string is a binary value of the n value, then return true, else return false. Write logic for this alone first, then we can go ahead further. Is it clear? Just as of now, just write logic for this, guys. This is not the exact question. Just I given the similar logic for it. If at all you're trying this, you can just solve the particular problem. So here question is all about you will be given a string like 1. If I give string like this and if I give my n value as 5, it is not the binary value of it. Okay, in those cases, it should return false. So whenever it is a binary value, it should return true. This is the question I given here. Just try to complete this first, then we can just see to this question. Just write logic for it. What is it, issue? Okay, I'll see to it, issue. What is this? Srija, this is not the exact question, just I given one of the subpart of a question. Okay. The question is all about you're supposed to check where the given string is the binary value of the number. Guys, the question is check whether string is the equivalent binary value of number. That's it. Check whether string is equivalent binary value for the integer n. Value of integer n. Okay, this is your question. Surya, this is string. This is integer. Yes, integer can be given as a string, right? So if you mention 1, this is a character. If you mention 1, this is the integer. Both are different. This is of char type integer and this is of int type integer. Quotes is important here. Quotes plays a major role. Function you wanted. Okay, function. Let me mention it as Boolean. Okay. Boolean type you're going to return, followed by check binary, followed by char star s and int n. Can keep this as your function name, guys. So which one Aishi you are asking for? This n value can be of any value. Divya, you're taking, guys, everyone's doing, just a minute, just a minute. You're comparing sum with your n. Okay, okay. Yeah, yes, Aisha. So, yes, Aisha, we'll be having this one. This double digit or any number, it will be there for any given number. So here, Divya, what is that you're taking? M. STRLEN. Okay. You're taking string here. Okay. What is that you're doing here? S of I. Divya, here S of I is a character type. It's a character. S is a character. Okay, fine. No issues. Actually, here, this is the input will be given. This character input will be given. Divya, what is that? Okay. Now, okay, fine. Divya, after this, just continue with the question part. Whatever I told you, right? Like a substring. Check for a substring. So along with the code, along with your code, just add this condition. They are returning true or false, right? As per this question, I say what is that you are mentioning? We people are mentioning true or false. So first, guys, you can do either one of the process, which means that either you can just make this as an integer and you can find equivalent decimal value and check to it. That is one way. Making this as a decimal number and check whether these are equal or that's one way. The other way is you can take this number, you can convert to binary. You can check whether these two are equal. Either this process or other process. Guys, work on it. It is very simple. Just I'm segregating the question and giving you for your easy understanding. Okay, if it is 1 or 0. Aishu, what is that you're doing here? Why is this two number? You're mentioning, okay, character type. This is a string, okay. Aishu, you can do one thing directly. You can initialize this one. Okay, no need of accepting. Don't confuse with this part. Assume this you have initializing. Okay, you initialize in main. You can initialize this is yes and this is the n directly. Okay, then work on it. Don't try to accept input, all those things. Okay, just write logic for it alone. Don't confuse with the input operation itself. So I given two step. Either you can go ahead with this particular binary two. You can just, if you want to check for the equality, one step is one method. One is you can just convert this string to decimal number. Okay, the string to decimal number and check for the equality. This is one way. The method two is you can take this number. You can take this number, make it as a binary value. Your decimal number to binary value. You can take it as a binary value. You can keep it. Okay, and then followed by it, you can just right now if you take a binary value for the number, we'll be getting as an integer, right? Then convert any one of a element to string type or string to integer. Okay, then check for the equality. You can do one thing. You can just, you'll be getting some binary value. Like for example, if you're giving like 10, you'll be getting 1010. Then try to convert your string to integer. Then check for a equality. You can go ahead with any one of the approach, guys. If you're converting string to decimal, directly you'll be getting a decimal number can be compared directly. Else, decimal number to binary, again, this binary will be the integer number. The same way, the string, whatever it is there, you can convert it as an integer value. You'll be getting both the number like this. You can just compare it. Make it done faster. So this is a partial code, guys. The remaining logic is there. First, if we are clear with this, then people can able to do the remaining part. So the just I split the question into two separate. Then you can merge together. Okay. As per the given condition, so what are the elements we are having? We are having two elements, right? So what are those? One is the binary value. So let me give bin, and the value whatever they are given us, let me keep it as, we'll keep it as 110. This is what they are given. So followed by, so they are given an integer value n. So let me initialize directly as 3 here. So as per the statement, what I mentioned here is we are going to pass this as your function. Your function name is check binary. Just a minute, let me copy it from Excel. So all the screens are open. Just give me a minute, or I'll be back with the editor. So this is the function name which we are discussing, check binary, and this is the parameter we are supposed to pass for it. So let us have a function for, so function call for it. So let me mention %d, comma, function call, check binary. Okay, and here we'll pass this array, binary array, and followed by en. So since it is a Boolean type, we are supposed to add concern header file for it, bool.h. This is done. And here is the important step where we are supposed to concern about it. So let me tell you about what are the different way for converting it. Let us go with one of the approach. So what is it you can do is you can just convert the given string is there, right? One method is method 1. So in method 1, you can just convert the given string to a integer. Okay, then we can take as a equivalent decimal value. So if at all you want to convert the given string to an integer, what should I do? What is the function I can use for it? String to integer. Do you have any idea about it? Conversion of string to integer. Do you have any function? Yes, a to y, right? So let me mention some variable called number. So if you give number will be confusing, right? So let me mention my string. So here I can make use of a to I as a function name. I can just mention this particular s as a parameter. So this is a string function which is available to convert your alphabet to integer. So you can add concern header file for it, string.h. So this is done, and followed by it. So now what is it you can do is, now we got a equivalent integer value for this particular string. Whatever the string it might be passed, we just made as an integer value. Okay, we made as an integer value. Now if you have a binary value, it will be easy for us to convert as an integer, right? So this is the process we are going to do here. So we are going to iterate this one while my string. So let me mention my string. I will keep it as integer string. Okay, in string. Okay, until my integer string greater than 0. So this right now, if at all this is the passed number, so it will be taken as a one value like 110. So now what is that? The same process what we are going to do for the sum of digit or number of digit counting. We are going to continuously divide a number and do modulo of it, right? The same process you can do it here. So you can do one thing, you can just declare one variable for storing the remainder. So let me mention remainder, and for calculating sum of it, let me have one variable called sum. You can store it. So here I can mention remainder assign a in string modulo by 10. The last value will be taken, and right now we are supposed to convert the particular value to equivalent binary value. This equivalent decimal value, right? So for this, we what will be doing it? We'll be doing power of it. So you can mention star power of 2 comma I value. This particular I is here is, you can have your I value initial value as 0. Okay, first is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2 will be having it, right? So we can have 2 power 0 first, and for next iteration you can just increment your I value. Guys, you are with me? So this is literally all about how the statement will be there. 0 into 2 power of 0. Okay. Plus 1 into 2 power of 1. So this all will be converting it, right? So then followed by 1 into 2 power of 2. So this is the process I'm writing here, guys, nothing else. Okay, just I'm converting this to equivalent decimal value. The process of conversion will be like this. This process I'm writing in by using power. Power of 2 power I. I value is 0 initially. I'm going to increment for each and every step. So for this, what is the header file it is required? The concerned header file required is math.h. Okay, this is done. And followed by it, I'm supposed to trim the number for each and every iteration. So let me mention in string divide by 10. So now what's going to happen is here I'm just throughout the program I'm executing it. I'll form the equivalent integer number for the given number. For the given number, I'm going to form equivalent decimal number. So for our reference, let us print it. So sum of it, what is going to give, you can just print to it. So just by printing sum, we can identify what is calculated. And here after this very simple process, what is it you're supposed to do? You're supposed to check for a condition. You can check like this, if at all my sum value is equals to n value. Okay, when it is equals to n value, then we can return true, else return false. Okay, we'll execute and check it once. Just a minute. What's happening? Check here. Okay, it is not responding. 15 seconds. Just a minute, guys. It's not getting executed. Console is doing some issues. So just give me a minute. We can just copy this code. We can paste in the editor. We can work on it. Okay. So online editor. So I'll paste the same code here. There is problem with the compiler. Okay, fine. So just give me a minute. Let me reload it. Okay. We'll execute it now. What is the problem here? It is commented, then followed by. So it is showing. So let me write a normal if condition here itself. Okay, no issues. We'll just modify it later after executing the program. We'll check what is the issue and modify it. Okay, no worries. Else return. That's fine. Semicolon. Yes, semicolon. Yes, yes. This A to I is the issue here, guys. Just a minute. It's a showing warning here. Something else is calculating. As per the given scenario, 0 into 2 to the power of. So into string you're saying. So what is it from you're saying something? Okay. Yes, Agati, we'll print this int str and we'll check it once. Then we can come to know what is happening there. Int str is doing its work properly. And after this, here is a problem with calculation, I believe. So better we do one thing, I'll just print the sum value each and every time then. What happened? So me, I'll just let you know. Okay, just let me execute this. I'll come to your doubt. Okay, just a minute. Give me a minute alone. Why is it Sagiti? It is why it is require stdlib for 8. Okay, this is a string function that's not required. Then let us try with it. Max majority of the library files has been included, right? Okay, we'll check to it once. So here inside this, we'll check it once, guys. Okay, just give me a minute. We'll check these values. So if you have a breakpoint here, it will be fine. So we'll have first we'll check with this a reminder value. What is the reminder value you're getting? And here next followed by what is the sum value we are calculating for each and every step. So if it is clear, then everything will be fine. Reminder value followed by what is the sum calculated. All the compilers are doing very late. No child process, no child process. So there is problem with this compiler also. Just a minute. Then okay, we'll go back to this compiler. Okay, this online compiler is also showing some issues. I know why. Okay, so we'll execute this. Here is the output, right? Just a minute. So first, reminder value is 0 and sum is 0. Okay, and reminder value is 1 and sum is 1. Guys, this we confused. We didn't give line break. That is the problem. So what happened here is some value is taken as 6 here. Okay, some value is taken as 6. That's right. So what is the 0 here is we are printing true or false. We are returning back true or false, right? So it has been printed as false. The given number is 3. Oh, it is executing perfectly. So we confuse with the output, guys. Logic is right. The output, since we doesn't give line break here, that's a confusion. Okay, don't worry. We'll go back and we'll see to it. So when you have a step value, then we got it. So here, this one. Okay, so we didn't give anything here. We have something like result, then we might have not confused it. Okay. Yeah, yes, Surya, that 0 is for this particular result. Okay, don't worry, I'll show you now. Okay, now you people will be clear. So it is printing the sum value as 6. Okay, after this it is coming back, right? It is checking whether n value is equals to 3. A condition is false. So here it will print 0 or 1 only. So that is the reason we got confused here. Why it is showing 60? Actually, it is showing only 6 as the answer. Equivalent integer value for it is 6. It is showing correct only. Okay, so I'll just execute and show you people once why it is like this, so that everyone will be clear. Then we can go with our logic. So now you will be clear. So sum is displaying only as 6. And this is the result which is printed in your main. Okay. So this is the logic for conversion. This is one logic, as you can do like this, and here this breakpoints are not required. And one more method. So this is done, and here this is also not required. Just a minute, the program is not completed. Okay, still few more statements are there. Let me complete it, then I'll share you the code. Guys, this is one method, guys. What you're doing is you're taking the string of it. You're taking this particular string, whatever it is given, you're taking it as an integer. This is done. One method is done. The other method is, instead of doing this step, instead of doing this conversion and doing this, okay, instead of doing this conversion and doing this, you can do one thing. You can just iterate it till length of it. So let me write the statement here in the aside. Let me write in the pin. You can just have a note of it. So I'll be having starting with it, and I'll go ahead to length of my string. Okay, that is a normal approach where everyone knows this. So this first I given a basic approach. Okay, and followed by Srinitha, after completing this, I'll give you break. Okay, you can, people can take a break after completing this logic. Okay, so listen here. So I value is equals to 0 and str of I goes to length of the string followed by I plus plus. So this is your first step, and followed by the same process I'm going to do it, guys. Listen here. Whatever I did in the previous step, previously we made use of A to Y. Without using A to Y also, you can just convert the given string to integer just by subtracting this with a character O. Okay, character O, you can subtract it into power of 2 comma I. The same step what we did here. Okay, this step, which is 0, guys. I have mentioned O, that is 0 for a character. Is this clear? Either you can just make use of this step, convert as a string, and you can do it, or you can do one thing. You can just make only one line of statement here. Okay, make it as an integer, then do power of it. Either you can do this step also. Either this one line can be added, or you can write this step. It is completely yours, guys. Okay, yours choice. I given two different options. Is this logic clear for everyone? Okay, fine. Okay, guys, we can have 10 minutes of break. Then we can resume the session. So one part of the question is done. So the remaining partial question is left over. The remaining part question is, so let me give you the remaining part of the question. The remaining part of the question is, you will be given S value, right? So this particular S is not exactly a N value. This S value might have some additional character also, like this. Okay, it may have some additional character also, like this. For example, if S value is given like 1, just a minute, 1. So what is triple 1? So 4 1. What is the N for 4 1? What is the equivalent decimal value? What is the equivalent decimal value for it? 15, right? So you can just assume that if your N value is 15, and this is your string, the given question is all about, you are supposed to find, okay, this N's binary value is the substring of S. Whether this is a substring of S. Got it? So you can notice that this is a substring of it. We got the equivalent value is there. So in this case, I should return true. If it is not, then I'm supposed to return false. Guys, let me repeat the question. You will be given a string with combination of binary values. So if at all the given integers binary value is the substring of S, then we are supposed to return true, else we are supposed to return false. Clear with the question? Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Fine. So now what is the first step we are supposed to find for this question? Now the question is literally you got the idea behind it. For what is the first step you're supposed to do? Step number 1, how to solve this question? Come on, answer me. Good. The first step is convert decimal to binary. Okay, decimal to binary. Then search for the substring. There's a logic behind it. Convert decimal to binary. Then search for the substring in the given string. So this is the S value and this is the N value given. If it is 15, so I can notice that the equivalent binary value of 15 is 111. So it will give you true as your output. For your test case 2, we'll take value like 100101. If this is a 1, if I give 10 as a value, the binary value of 10 is 1010, which is not present in it. So can you able to form any 1010 substring is there? No 1010. Why? This is the one having 0 is missing. So if you go before 0, that is also not possible. In this case, I'm supposed to return false as your output. So this is your question. So for this, whenever we are trying to take this number and form a equivalent decimal value, then that's not possible to check for a substring. So we are supposed to deal only with the number. Take the number, convert to binary, then search for a substring. Okay, fine. Guys, if at all you're facing some issues somewhere, just let me know. Yeah, any value. It can be of any value. What happened? Okay, your first step is convert decimal to binary. That is done. So here by using this particular decimal to binary, this binary will be of integer. If at all you're doing some binary, it will be of integer. Then second step you're supposed to do is convert, okay, convert this binary value, whatever you got, to string type, or convert as typecast as string. It is not convert, it is like you can make it as typecast. Typecast the binary value to string type. And after this, search for the substring. These are the 3 steps. So if you go in this flow, we can solve this program easily. Yeah? So it is all about, I'm just passing a number, I'm declaring one variable and copying it. Right now, the first procedure is I'm going to convert this particular number's equivalent binary value has to be converted. So let me write the logic for it. While our number greater than 0. The continuous division, the same process is going to happen again. So here you're supposed to mention reminder assign. We are going to take a continuous reminder value. We are supposed to take it, right? Just I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm going to take it here. And here one more thing, let me have one more variable called binary. So what is this binary is going to be? I'm just a normal integer variable binary. So I'm going to form a binary value here just by adding this reminder into place value. So let me have one more variable called place. What is that? Power or place. It's up to you guys. Okay. The place value. So let me do one thing. Let me declare one value called place. Initially, we'll be having ones place, tens place, hundreds place, right? So for this, let me have one more variable called place, and let me have initial value as 1. So let me have a place value here. Just I'm going to multiply remainder value into place value. So each and every time the value will be added to the concerned place, and followed by, for the next iteration, it is going to be multiplied with 10. So ones place, tens place, hundred place, thousands place. So that is the reason I'm just multiplying my place value with 10. And for the next iteration, what is it I'm going to do is, so you can take this number itself, guys. Okay. For the next iteration, what is it I'm going to do is, I'm supposed to divide this number by 2. Is this clear? So as of now, let me write a return type as void. So we can just have a checkpoint then and there. So that will be easy for us to print and check it. So that whether our work is going properly. So let me call this, let me have a function call alone here as of now. Later on, we can add these statements. Okay. So this is done. So as of now, let me print the binary value. Then we can go ahead with the next step. So percentage %d followed by our binary value. So let me print it. So we'll initialize the binary values. We'll initialize as 0. The initial value, you can keep it as 0. Okay, done. We'll execute this. So these variables are not required as of now. So since it is the previous programs one, it is being as such. Don't confuse with these variables. So reminder is required, binary is required, place is required, and even this number is also not required, guys. We're not going to use it. We can keep our original number itself. Okay, that's fine. So now let's execute it. So semicolon here. So you're passing 110. What is the equivalent? Sorry. So what is the equivalent binary value for 3? Equivalent binary value of value for 3 is, we'll be getting 001, right? So since in case of integer, I'm going to store it. So it will be showing it as 1 as my value. Is it clear? It will be showing 1 as my value since I'm storing it as a integer 1. Okay. If at all you want the same thing to happen in case of your the same, if you want to include 0 also, then you're supposed to store this data in an array. Store it in an array. Here right now I'm making use of a bin and I'm making as an integer. So if at all you want this as the exact one, what is happening, you want to store it in an array, you can just make it this as an array format, you can store it. So is this clear so far? Shall I proceed? Okay, fine. So followed by it, what is that we are supposed to do? We are supposed to convert this particular number to the equivalent string type. So it is right now it is of integer type, right? So how can we convert a string type? What are the different way for converting a integer to a string? We have two approaches for converting integer to a string. What are those? Two methods can be implemented. What are those? So what are the two approaches for converting integer to string? Two types of functions are available. Good. One is all about sprintf. Either you can use sprintf for conversion of it. Okay, good. And any other statement? So for sprintf, if at all you are using, we'll have a syntax like yes, I to A. I to A is for integer to alphabet. You can make use of these two things for conversion. Okay, one is I to A, and other is this method. So here, what is that you can do is you can just mention sprintf or I to A. It's completely up to you. But look at the syntax of it. Have a clear idea about it, guys. Okay. So here we'll use sprintf just for conversion of this particular integer to a string type. So let me mention sprintf. So we'll declare one variable for of character type like char string binary. Okay. So let me have n as a size of it. N more than n it will be size, right? So you can have certain tentative sizes like 20 or 25. Okay, we can have tentative size here. So here, what is it you can do is you can mention the string which has to be stored. My string binary followed by the data type which you want to convert it, from which to which you want to convert it, and followed by the binary data. Okay, you can use I to A also. It's completely up to you. I to A or this one. Okay, sprinter for I to A. So now this is done and followed by it. So what's your doubt? Okay, so followed by it, you can just print it. Printf percentage. Let me print it and check it first. Then we can go ahead further. Followed by a str bin. So whatever the So whatever the value we are passing, whatever the value it has been converted, one is there, right? The entire element has been converted to string type. Right now, the second type, whatever we have printed is a string output, and first whatever we have printed is a converted output. Okay, so now we got the equivalent string type of it and followed by it. So followed by it, what you are supposed to do. So till this two step is completed, guys. The third step is all about searching of it. The third step is searching the substring. Have you wrote searching of substring logic? So here in this one, you can do one more thing. Instead of writing this one, you can make this binary is there, right? Even you can make this as an array type. You can have you can make this as an array type. You can do one thing in this place. You're going to have this binary, right? So in this place, you can have one iterator. Okay, you can have one iterator. So what is that you can mention is b of I is replaced with, just a minute. So b of I will be replaced with b of I plus. So here this logic changes. Here this completely changes. When I change this one, the complete logic changes. No. Here we should not change it. Just a minute. So if you modify this, then you're supposed to store it in an array, right? You can do this one. You're supposed to store it in an array. You're supposed to make it as a separate array. You're supposed to store a value here. Calculate it, then followed by store a value. Store it. You can store in different one. We can do one thing, guys. Just I don't want to change the entire code. You can do one thing. You can declare one more variable here, and you can just for the next step, what you can do is you can mention b of I is stored with the calculated value. For example, let us assume this is your x value here. Okay, you're just finding the reminder. You're supposed to find a reminder. Okay, just do one thing. Instead of this, you're supposed to find the reminder and place it here. Okay, find the reminder of it, place your reminder here. So do this process continuously. This could be fine, guys. Instead of taking as an integer, do this process continuously. Take a reminder, place it here, then continue the step. Got idea for it? Will you people try after this? I given two step has been done. Only one step I'm expecting from you people. Will you complete this one, guys, now? So hardly we have 10 minutes. Will you complete it? Yes, right. Okay, do it. Go ahead. Just only searching of substring logic is left over. So we have found the string type of it. Just searching substring. As we see in a palindrome, search substring. So will you try to solve these two questions by Monday? Okay, I'll give you two questions, guys. This is one question. You take sufficient time. I expect answer only by Monday. Okay, I'll give you one more question, which is something interesting. Same as a binary value. Okay. So here, listen here. Let me share you the screen. Just give me a minute. Let me share you the entire question. So I'll share the question in editor itself. Okay. In the LeetCode itself. Listen, look at here. The question is all about given two strings. What is the string is type of? Binary strings A and B. Return the sum as binary string. Guys, this is your next question, guys. Keep the previous question as your task and add this question along with it. You can work on it, submit on Monday. Okay, Monday we can just say, we can discuss about it. Okay, listen here. So 1 is given. So 1 1 and 1. So this is all about the binary string input. So what is that we are supposed to do is we are supposed to do summation of it. Okay, 1 1 gives you summation of 1 1 binary value. What is the value we'll be getting? 1 1 when you're adding it will give you 10, right? 1 plus 1 in case of binary value it will give you 1 0 as the output. So keep 0 here, take 1 here. Again 1 plus 1, take 1 as a question value, this one, and add these two. 1 plus 1, 10. Got it? Carry, yes, carry value. We'll be taking carry of it, so you'll be getting 100 as the answer. The same way they taken the next condition 1 0 1 0 and followed by 1 0 1 1. So 0 1, addition of 0 1, what is it? 1 1 is 1 0, 0 1 1. Okay, 1 1 0 1. Okay, so 1 plus 1 gives you 1 0, 0 plus 1 or 1 plus 0 gives you only 1. So 0 plus 0 gives you 0. This is a scenario, right? So just make this as a scenario and you're going to work on it. 0 plus 1 gives you 1, 1 plus 1 gives you 1 0. So 1 is carry and 0 here. 0 plus 0 plus 1. So 1 here. So here we'll be getting 1 0. Okay, I believe this question is clear for everyone. If there is any doubt in it, I'll share this question in chat box, guys. You can have a snap of it. So by Monday, we can discuss these two programs. Meanwhile, I want you to work on these programs, guys. Okay, take your own time, work on this program. We have a lot of questions like this based on binary values. Is this question clear for everyone? Yes. Okay, fine.